Hello and welcome to the Pickup WNBA podcast. I'm your host, Cathryn Freddie.
And I'm your other host, Freddie Rivas. What is up?
Oh, and this is episode 118, baby.
118. Hey, guess what? Follow us on all of our social media platforms. We are
I
at the
don't know why I'm
WN
laughing.
at the Pickup WNBA podcast on YouTube. Like and subscribe and share. We got a bunch of shorts too. Check those out. And also check us out on Twitter. Soon to be Blue Sky. Trust me, it's happening. It happened with YouTube. And Instagram too. Yeah, check us out on Instagram. Share us, help us. We also still have this Acast /Sonar /Acast /W the Pickup Podcast survey. Make sure you fill that out. Help us out. Give us feedback. Help our advertisers. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Help our advertisers help us.
Help us, help you, help them. We're all
and,
helped,
and
man.
and Freddie, where can they find us? What's our
Uh,
handle?
the Pickup WNBA podcast.
Perfect. I don't know why that made me laugh. I think it's like it's late. I've had a long day working and blah blah blah. So we might get a bit of a loopy version of me today.
We
I'm
love a
feeling that. I'm feeling a bit loopy right now.
we love a loopy Cathryn. You know what I mean?
Okay, well let's jump into it and we'll see how loopy I get. To start off, really, really unfortunate news with Juju Watkins.
Mm-hmm.
She tore her ACL. She's out of the competition. Um, Typically I find with athletes when they have a torn ACL, they're generally out for a year. So I mean, we don't know what that's going to mean for the tournament next year. Hopefully she makes it back in time. Obviously wishing her a speedy recovery. Really is going to alter the shape of this tournament, I think, because USC. So first of all, they won. They still went on to win that game, and they won
Mm-hmm.
it quite handedly. Like it was a blowout. And Kiki Iriafen, thank you everyone, Iriafen. I'm saying that like I'm like the announcer at a spelling bee or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It
You're
had a bit of
definitely
that tone to it.
can I also just vent to our college uh our college, newness. USC and USC, and they're both good and relevant teams. Unacceptable. Listen, I understand it's University of Southern California and University of South Carolina, but you can't. That's not okay. Listen, like you can't have two
And no one really goes by
identical.
no one really goes by the team names.
Exactly. It's like people are like USC, and they're like, which one? Like it can't just be which one all the time. Like I don't know. I don't know who needs to like who we need to talk to, but
Okay,
it's
for the sake
yeah.
of this show, you bring up a great point. For the sake of the show, I think USC for us is going to be University of South California, right? Southern California. That's what USC is. And
Yes.
then when we talk about South Carolina, we'll just say South Carolina
Yeah, and
because that's easier to say.
having a wife that's like spent most of her life in South Carolina, she's born in Atlanta. Like even to me, like she went to College of Charleston, so it's like COC. But for me, when I think of like South Carolina, I understand it's a university, but I just for me it's SC. So that's what I'm doing. SC and USC.
Okay, great.
They're both universities, I know. Anyways,
Well,
here.
glad we got that figured out.
Can I just let a Juju Watkins thought fly here?
Yeah.
Uh, so my father-in-law, huge college basketball fan. And we were both kind of joking about like the COVID eligibility, like never ending. Cause like it's wild how much games you watch, how many games you watch, and you'll hear like she still got eligibility. And it's like, wait. How long is this eligibility going to go on? And I realized that also what's extended eligibility for college players is they get an extra year if they were affected by COVID, right? Okay. So that's a 5 years instead of 4. And they also can potentially have an extra year if they were injured, such as a Paige Beckers.
Yeah.
So, I'm just gonna throw this out here. With Juju Watkins, we're looking at, like, potentially, maybe, her entering the W in, like, 2028. Like, hopefully not, but this is, like, she's, has a lot she's a sophomore, she has a lot of college left.
But was she affected by COVID?
I don't think she was, but if she misses a whole year due to injury, and they won't count that year, so she'll
Right.
you know what I mean? So, anyways,
Right. So she wouldn't be in the draft in 2027, then you're saying it
yeah,
would be
like, I mean, she's
2028.
definitely not in the next 2 drafts, but,
Yeah,
I
that's wild.
I also wanna say it was heartwarming to see how she's such a big, big basketball force. So
Mhm.
seeing her go down and how much of the basketball world was like, "I have to say something, I have to reach out, like, prayers up," sort of thing, like, this is
Mm.
we're definitely watching a legend type basketball player in the making, and
Mhm.
it felt like a major kind of, like, sad for the sport moment.
Yeah, it was. I completely agree. I think too, like, not to get ahead of myself too much, but when you're talking about 2028, it made me realize that, like, that's gonna be a really big deal for the expansion teams in the WNBA
That's right.
because, when the first year they have to draft, like 5, or we don't know what they're gonna do for the tempo, and we still don't know the name of the Portland team. If it's gonna be 5-6 or 4-5, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But, assuming these teams aren't necessarily gonna be good the first, like, year or 2, I mean, they could have their eye on Juju from, like, the jump.
100%,
They're gonna
and
we could see a new team tank for Juju.
well, you could even say that a team
Whether
like
she misses a year or not, this could be 2027 also.
you could even say that a
But
team
yeah.
like Golden State is doing that, right?
Yeah.
Because the way it's structured for Golden State is that they're gonna get the 5th overall pick for 2 years in a row, which
Mhm.
honestly, I think is kinda harsh for the expansion team.
2
Like, n
years in a row?
2 years in a row, they get the
No,
5th.
that's harsh. I don't like that
I
at all.
isn't that that's kinda rough, you know?
No, I don't like that.
Anyways, I hope they change it all for the tempo, obviously.
But yeah, I mean, that was obviously, like, the biggest news of the second round. Now we're going into the Sweet 16. Freddie, do you have any thoughts about the Sweet 16?
I do have some thoughts about the Sweet 16, but my main thought is
Mhm.
that it is absolutely wild to see some of the scores from the first round. Like, it's like,
Yep.
I get if you're a college head, let me know, is it just all recruitment? Like, why are the major teams like, how are their scores is across the whole first round? So here we go. South Carolina versus Tennessee, 108 to 48. What the hell? UCLA versus Southern, 84 to 46. Like there Florida State, George Mason, 94-59. LSU San Diego, 103 to 48. Like there was absolute beat down after beat down. You had some close ones, Vanderbilt, Oregon. But anyways, I am really it feels bad watching games like that. Like because there's a team where you're like, okay, I understand these women are awesome, but they're coming across like high school players versus college players. Like what's going on here? Like the talent difference is gigantic.
Do you feel bad?
Um, a little bit. Well, just I feel bad that I mean, I guess I don't feel bad for the school, but I feel bad. I've been in that situation, like only for high
Okay,
school.
here it is.
Here it is, yeah, only for high school basketball. But I've been in a scenario where you just get run out of the gym,
Mm-mm.
but it's the first quarter and you have to keep playing, and then they're like emptying their bench on you, and then the bench is running you out of the gym. and it's like they're going the whole team is schooling you, and the score just you just sort of you can't even run an offense, like you're just getting dominated, and yeah, yeah, it's
And
rough.
how did that make you feel, Freddie?
It made me feel ashamed, and I I went absolutely nuts after, and um no, I
How
didn't
how
get
so? How did you go nuts?
I I bought into crypto, and I'm down big. Okay, so there you want it, Catherine. You wanted it all. There it is. I'm a crypto head, and I'm basically falling apart. My life is a mess, and my family doesn't know, okay, that I've invested everything I have in a crypto, and it's tanking. So here I am.
All 'cause of this
All because of that game. And the first round reminded me of it.
So you were triggered.
I was triggered.
Yeah. Okay, that was fun. That was a fun deep dive.
Okay. Uh, fun bits aside, there it does seem like we have some real, I'm pumped for South Carolina, Maryland, North Carolina, Duke, which I know aren't major heavy hitters for women's basketball. It's fun that they
Yeah,
are.
still a regional rivalry for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Like so, it's cool that they're playing each other. Um, USC, Kansas State. Like I'm not exactly sure what to expect there. I think USC probably gonna. Well, yeah, I guess they don't have Juju anymore, so maybe it's tighter. Oklahoma
Ye-
UConn should be a good game, I think.
Yeah, I think TCU and Notre Dame.
Notre
Uh
Dame, yes.
I think that's going to be a good game. I think like that's going to be like the one to watch. I think that one's going to be close. Um yeah, I think I have this feeling that LSU is going to get like upset. I think LSU is going to be out.
Hmm.
I think NC State could take it. I think I just don't have faith in LSU this year.
Okay, this is interesting.
That's a bit of a bold prediction on my part. We didn't do proper brackets,
We
Freddie.
didn't. I will also say, did you see the highlights from the Alabama Maryland double OT game? Double OT is nuts in a college tournament. It's a very different than watching
Mhm.
it in like the NBA or the WNBA. Like when your season and kind of legacy is on the line in a double OT, it's bonkers. It was a very, very fun game.
Mm.
But yes, we me and Catherine were talking about this before the pod. We have certain promises that we need to follow through on. The Maya Moore doc. Okay. Um,
It's not too late for us to do a bracket of the Sweet 16 onwards, though,
that's right.
which I was telling you, we can still do this.
But I'm afraid to promise to our listeners because what if we don't?
But what if you make the promise to yourself,
That's beautiful.
right? You got to promise you.
Little Freddie needed to hear that when he got blown out of the gym and went big on crypto.
Yeah, I wasn't there to coach little Freddie back.
Where was Big Catherine when little Freddie needed him most?
Taking care of little Catherine.
I
Speaking of
guess.
which, I still have this pin on my desk of little
Oh,
Catherine.
okay. This is why you need to watch our YouTube because little Catherine still has big hair and it's amazing.
Oh yeah,
That's a,
little Catherine arguably had bigger hair.
it's a very,
Um,
very cute photo.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking around. Do I have any cute photos like
I
that? No.
made these into pins for my 40th birthday and gave them out to people as gifts, along with some chocolates. Not just the pin. That'd be crazy. Wouldn't that be crazy if I just gave you a pin and no chocolates?
That'd be messed up. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Um,
We're very
well,
sidetracked here.
here's a passport photo of me.
Okay, Freddie, what the hell are you doing again? Show your whole YouTube, what the we're gonna have to see if Jamie knows how to blur that out now. You can't have your
Whoops.
passport information.
Yeah, whoops. It was an old one. So, because guess what?
I
It's
don't know what difference that
got
makes.
the holes punched out, you know?
But won't the numbers still be the same in your identity?
You're right. That's pretty messed up.
You know
I
what?
got
I'm gonna let you ask Jamie to deal with that.
sounds good. I gotta invest more in crypto, I think is
Yeah, maybe also change your name or something. Okay, let's move on to our next topic.
let's do it.
Uh we've got a new WNBA mock draft, and it feels like a good time to get back into it because we are in the throes of the tournament right now. So just to give people a quick recap, we're not going to focus on everybody, but obviously Paige is still number one. This is ESPN's mock draft. You always like to shout out the author, Michael Vopel. Shout
Yep.
out. Number two is still Olivia Miles, Notre Dame. I can't. Olivia Miles, Notre Dame.
Notes
Still
to
number
Tom.
2. We've got Kiki Iriafen moving up to number 3,
Mhm.
which makes a lot of sense, especially after that breakout game she had the other night. Sonia Citron, number 4. Number 5, Dominique Malonga.
Mhm.
Do I have that right?
Yep.
Um, we've got Cheyenne Sellers at number 6. Anisha Morrow, number 7. Uh, Asia, I don't know how to pronounce this name. From
From
Slovenia.
Slovenia. I read it as
Sivka?
A Aja Sivka. I think that S is
Aja
silent.
Sivka.
Yeah.
Okay, well, apologies. Maybe someone can correct us. We have Haley Van Lith at number 9. And I'll just round out the top 10 here. We have Georgia Amore. Is it Amore or is it
Aja
Amore?
I think it's, Amor.
Okay. Freddie, who in this mock draft do you want to focus on?
I wanna focus on a friend of the podcast, Mark Schneider did a really, really awesome Ringer article on Dominique Malonga, and, she's her s so before this mock draft, some mock drafts had her at, all the way as high as 2nd, overall, but obviously the tournament's happening, and she's not in the tournament, and, she's not getting press, right? But this is like really everyone should read Mark's incredible article because it covers a lot of fun things about the W and where the WNBA is going. And Dominique is a absolute like basketball sight to behold. She's 6'6" and is not like think Jonquel Jones if Jonquel Jones could move like way more fluidly. Like she's like crazy special. She can do stuff that like it's like in kind of Candace Parker fluid territory.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's just like insane on defense, insane on offense, and really is like if she doesn't get drafted, here's a wild take.
Mhm.
If she doesn't get drafted first overall, that might be too low.
Over Paige.
Like, obviously, Paige's gotta go first, but Dominique is the type of player who is going to be a franchise player, like, period, end of story.
Wow.
She just has way too much going on, and, yeah, she's playing internationally, so there's just not a lot of focus on her, but she looks very like, the easy NBA comparison for people who are wondering is Wembanyama. Like, she's gonna have that level effect
That's an
on the
easy comparison for you?
well, just sort of like her Yes, Wembanyama's 7'5", but she's 6'6", and she can do things that women who are 6'6" simply cannot do.
Should they be a couple?
I don't know. They're both from France, maybe. Okay, this is why you
See,
need a Catherine. Okay, like,
thank you. We'll see. Yeah,
but
don't even
anyways,
know don't even know if either of them are straight. Doesn't matter. But just saying.
obviously, I'm sort of like high on the Mark Schneider supply here, but like this article was great, and he really there's a lot of like video clips, and like it really
Oh, I want to turn them into a Hallmark movie, those two. Come on, it's set in like Paris and then they come to like
sure.
America. Oh my god.
I don't see why not. I'm into it.
Brain is loopy. It's looping.
Brain is looping. And anyways, yeah, she's projected as fifth right now, so the Valkyrie would get her, which would be a pretty good start to a franchise for them.
Huge. The player I wanted to focus on is Haley Van Lith. So here's the thing. We know Haley Van Lith, right? Like we remember her from LSU last year. We saw her in the 3-on-3 Paris competition. Right now, she's averaging 17.7 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 5.5 assists. Everyone's saying she's having a phenomenal tournament right now. She's really coming into her own. W- She's all the way at 9. Now, here's the thing. It is it is a stack draft once again, right? But I'm starting to get this feeling like this could be like an Angel Reese situation where it's like you might be like, in rookie of the year talks, like, obviously, Caitlin Clark was the rookie of the year, but there was a while there where, like, Angel Reese was, like, really entering the chat and was, like, clearly the number 2, and Haley Van Lith could end up being that person
Hmm.
this year and is getting drafted possibly lower than she should be. I think a player like her to get someone like her at 9 is incredible. And right now, I believe she's projected to go to, the Los Angeles Sparks.
Yes.
That would be incredible for the Sparks. And she already has, like, a connection with, Dearica Hamby from the 3-on-3. So you would have that connection as well. I just think, like, if she goes in at ninth, that's gonna be a really big deal for the Sparks, but also she's having such a phenomenal year right now. She might even be underrated at that slot,
Hmm.
is what I'm saying. So something to watch out for.
This isn't a player thing, but I feel like I'm not sure if I've seen this in the W draft since we've been podcasting, but it is wild to me how all in on the draft the Sun are, but really the Mystics are. So the Mystics have the third, fourth, and sixth pick. That's that's pretty nuts. And then the Sun have the seventh and eighth pick.
Well, it
So
makes
the
sense because those teams are essentially starting over.
Yeah, and the Sun obviously are in like they're just starting to rebuild. But if you're a Mystics fan and you tanked, I think you got to be happy with having three out of the first six picks.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty, like whereas like let's say if you're like Chicago, you have the 10th pick and that's it. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like that's
Chicago had 2 prime picks last year,
yeah.
right? Where they got Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese, so
Mhm.
I mean, which is to me still a phenomenal backcourt, like, I
It is.
mean,
Yeah, no, that is such a good like, they're really gonna just like be able to build around that for
those are
sure.
2 people to build around for
And they
sure.
both they hit on both picks like huge. So
Mhm. Um, okay, Freddie, ready for round 3 here?
I am ready for round three. Let's do it.
Okay, so we've got, the TV schedule, is that correct? Or is it
Mhm.
just part of the TV schedule?
I think it's mostly highlights from the TV schedule. Like we don't have the exact like
The
dates.
full one hasn't come out, but what we do know is there is going to be Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. So, 44 games, 41 out of the 44 games for the Indiana Fever are going to be nationally televised. So, all but 3 games this year for the Indiana Fever will be nationally televised. So, Freddie, your question is, do we think this is good
Yeah.
or not? Do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, I thought I'd ask you because
Mhm.
that was my I saw some online chatter about kind of like, I guess, frustration that there's too much focus on Caitlin Clark. And, my instinct was to say, yes, let's focus on the other talent and let's not make this like the Caitlin Clark league, um, because it's the WNBA. But then I kind of had this second thought, which was there's so many casual fans that I've talked to who are shaping their understanding of the W around Caitlin Clark, and it is bringing them in as fans, and there's sort of like their cast of characters are expanding.
Mm,
Whereas I do think people who are already big W fans, although it's frustrating to see Caitlin get to swallow up so much attention, I think they're still locked in. So I think there's a lot of people who let's say like are coming in because of Caitlin who are learning about Nafisa. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's happening, and those fans are going to stick around. So 41 out of 44 games seems kind of excessive, but they're also chasing the money. And I think it's just gonna put a target on the Fever's back. I also think the Fever are gonna be really good this year, which is different to me than last year.
I think, I agree with, the latter point in that, the way I see it is, it's not just them at practice, right? Like they're playing against somebody, and
Yeah.
naturally that's going to put the spotlight on the other team facing them. And like you said, it's going to put a huge target on them. Every team that shows up to that game, right? It's like, okay, this is the nationally televised Caitlin Clark game. They're gonna bring it. Like, they're gonna like, yes, Indiana's definitely gonna be a better team this year, but every team is gonna bring their best against them, and that's gonna be new for Indiana. And
Mhm.
I think, like, as much as it's gonna showcase Caitlin and her teammates, obviously, they're gonna get more attention. Every time someone goes up against her, they're also going to get attention. So I do think, like, the other teams are gonna benefit. Now, is it fair, quote unquote fair? That can be debated, but I feel like we have to move past that now. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's like we have to just like accept it for who it like for what this is, right? She is essentially the Michael Jordan of this league. Not to say that she's the greatest of all time, but she is the culture shifter, right? Like Michael Jordan shifted the culture of basketball in the NBA, right? Like, people all over the world knew who he was, you know, you wanna be like Mike, blah, blah, blah. All of that charisma was there before the championships even, right? Now people who are like, historians of the game will go on about like Detroit and all these other teams that he had to like battle up against, and all of that's very true. Boston, of course, but like he was the defining culture shifter internationally
Mhm.
for the game, and to me, Caitlyn is that. So it's like, whether she ends up with all the championships and accolades or not, she's shifting the culture, and I think at this point, we just have to accept it. You know what I mean? Like, this is what it is,
Yeah.
and everyone just has to take advantage of the moment when they get it. And then, the real ones like us who have been watching the league, I mean, we haven't even been watching that long, but we've been watching it closely for, like, 4 years or so now, like, since the pandemic, really, so
Mhm.
5 years. We're gonna know who's who, right? Like, we're still here, And, like, also too, it's like, let Caitlyn meet the moment. Right? Like, let her achieve the greatness that people are expecting her to achieve. Like, it's fun to watch, I think. Like, I love watching people achieve greatness. That's why I love sports. So to me, it's like, okay, she has this platform. Let's see what she does with it. And if she does the most with it, all the more power to her.
Very well said. And I think also just trajectory wise, I have 2 points. The first one is if we're talking Caitlin Clark first half of her rookie season, it's like, what are we doing here? But Caitlin Clark post Olympic break played
Yeah,
such incredible offensive basketball that she got herself onto first team all WNBA. Like that's insane. She ended up having one of the best rookie seasons ever.
ever.
Not the best, but one of the best. And um, my second point is let me just read these names. So these are other Fever players who are league staples who deserve the attention that they're about to get. Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell already is getting that attention because she's, already a staple of the Fever. But Dewana Bonner, Erica Wheeler, also already a staple. Same with Aaliyah Boston. But Natasha Howard, Sydney Colson, Brianna Turner, Jalen Brown, Demiris Dantes, like all these players are about to have like major, major eyes on them that they like previously had not.
Yeah, buy your Sydney Colson social media stock.
Seriously. Seriously. Like Sydney Colson's already the best follow on social media. Now her platform just and by the way, she was on the Aces. So she
Mhm.
already had a huge platform, but it's like, it's gonna be big. So I really think that yeah, you nailed it with meeting the moment. The only other thing I'll say about wait, if you have any other Caitlin
No,
stuff
no,
you
no,
want,
please go ahead.
it's just a critique here because I am looking at the platform for the WNBA, and to me it's a little bit more of the same. Of I want my again, I feel like I'm stumping for casual so hard right now. But I think it's vital for the growth of the league to have discoverable content.
Mhm.
And here are the platforms that the W regular season is going to be on: ABC, ESPN, CBS, CBS Sports, Ion, NBA TV, Prime Video, League Pass, Meta platforms. And for the Meta platforms, it says further details coming soon. Can we maybe consolidate this a bit? Because I think people, think about if you're going to a bar. That bar needs to have like the go-to W channels. Like if you're people at a bar and you're like, can you throw on, whatever the Sky Wings game? You need that bartender to be able to like pour a drink and find that game quick. Like you can't have someone being like, "Let me check my satellite subscription. Do I have Ion?" Like that's not helpful.
Hmm.
Anyways, that's my rant.
Are we gonna sound like old people because we're talking about watching the game at the bar? Do young
I
people watch games at the bar?
I don't think so, and I have for sure outed myself as an old geezer.
No, I'm curious. I mean, I'm older, so uh yeah, it's true. I mean, I agree. Well, like when the games are hard to find, it is frustrating. Like I think with League Pass, I'm able to watch most of them, and then the only exceptions are like if it's on Prime, I
Mhm.
think. Um, yeah. But
I also
anyway.
love those 10-minute highlight games because I mean, and because of the amount of WNBA games, I'm actually able to watch every single game.
Ooh, look
It's
at
great.
you.
Yeah,
Bragging,
bragging.
bragging.
Last little point. I love that there's 44 games. You know, we went from 40 games to 44 games. I
Well,
think,
there's gonna be more next year.
yeah, it's
We're
gonna be
gonna
more
be
next.
nearing 50.
Is it going up to 48?
Well, there's 2 new teams next year.
Right, right. I see what you're saying.
And then there's gonna be a new team the year after that with
Right.
Cleveland.
And then I think I haven't seen it in writing recently, but if I'm not mistaken, they are going to do away with the one and done, or sorry, the 3 game first round series. So it's gonna be 5 games, which is gonna be
Yes,
a
that's right.
big improvement.
Ready for your fun question?
Sure am.
Take it away.
So the first ever WNBA regular season game, not a preseason game, is going to be held uh, outside of the U.S. in Vancouver, which is very exciting for.
Sorry, you want to say the first ever internet like game played outside of America?
Yes, what did I say?
Well, you just said the first regular season game.
Oh, that's yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, the first ever regular season game that is going to be played outside of America is going to happen in Vancouver. It's going to be the Seattle Storm, the Atlanta Dream, which is very, very exciting. I always, I sort of feel bad for those two fan bases to lose a home game. However, it's really, I think this kind of thing's really
That's
good
a
for.
home game for Seattle.
That's true. That's true. Good
Yeah,
point. Right
that's
there.
basically a home game for Seattle.
Fair enough. And that made me think, Catherine, if you could
Mhm.
pick a unique city or place for a WNBA game to happen, where there has not previously been WNBA games, what's your angle? Where's the city? What's the place? What's the vibe?
I'm gonna just base this solely on where. Oh my god, that was my dog. I want to base this solely on where I want to travel.
Okay.
So I'm going Honolulu, Hawaii, baby. Let's go.
Ooh, huge, huge
First
choice.
game in Hawaii. Let's do it. I don't even
I
care what 2 teams it is. Any 2 teams.
I I love that. That would be very, very
Every
exciting.
other team would just be jealous.
Every other team would be jealous. That would be
Yeah, I
incredible.
mean, if we wanna go like, more international, let's do Tokyo, let's do Dubai, let's do Milan,
Wow. Okay. So you're fully
Paris.
let's go overseas, like
Let's
super, super
travel,
far.
baby. Oh my god, my dog's really upset.
Well,
She's finished her peanut butter and her apples. She's actually fine. She's fine. She's just a puppy still.
but that's a good natural timer for us. So here's mine. And maybe it's perhaps a little bit political,
Mhm.
but this is where I celebrated my honeymoon, and it's a beautiful place that deserves all the love. Puerto Rico.
Very
Let's
nice.
let's bring a game to Puerto Rico, and I think it would be
Is that political?
I think in a sense because it's an American place that doesn't have representation.
We
Um
both picked, like, the most non-American American places
yeah,
in
but
a way.
Hawaii at least has, like, a member of Congress and
Oh,
stuff.
true, yeah.
Senators,
Sorry, I didn't know
representation.
all that. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I thought you were gonna pick a Canadian place, but I don't know if you're like me, but I was going through. I'm like, I don't know who else deserves it because we got Edmonton. Edmonton had one, Montreal had one, and Vancouver. And I'm like, listen, I don't know if I want to make WNBA players play in Halifax. No offense, Halifax.
Yeah, we love Halifax, but I've been to Halifax, and it is a very pretty city, but I've been, so I have to go to other places, like
Oh, it's about
Milan.
your travel. Okay, I
It's
got it.
about my travel. This is about where Barcelona would be another great one. Love to go to Barcelona.
Barcelona would be good.
Mhm. Thank you. I think I really won this category, although
Yeah,
Puerto Rico would be amazing.
you won it by naming many cities.
Yeah, but also I'll just if I'm it's Hawaii. Honolulu, Hawaii. Let's go.
That'd be a huge pick.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap it up there. Everyone, thank you so much for listening and tuning in. We appreciate you so so much. Apologies for the dog barking at the very end there. She's pretty good for the most part though. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave a positive review. And if you have done this crazy wild survey of ours already, thank you so much. And if you haven't, but are considering it, give it a whirl. Give it a
Give
whirl.
it a whirl,
It's
please.
gonna help us grow the show. So we really appreciate you. Thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.
Catch you next time. Thanks, folks.
Bye.
Peace.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.